All right, class. Okay, I guess not. Okay, so I do this anyway, no matter what, even though no one's in my room. Actually, there's one person here. They just don't know how to say. Anyway, so 8.3 product and quotient theorems. We're going to do complex number, trigonometric form, quotients, all that good stuff. So super easy. So all this right here is going to be, undo. There we go. So this is RCIS. And again, a second one, RCIS. So we're going to do some multiplication of this, where it comes out. So I multiply my two R's, add my two angles, if it's multiplication. And in compact, so you're basically multiply these two, add these two. So that is if you are multiplying. So let's do this. So I'm going to have 3CIS of 45 times, my second one is 2CIS of 135. Multiplying together is going to give me 3 times 2 CIS of 45 plus 135. So when I put those together, 3 times 2 is going to give me 6 CIS of 45 plus 135 is 180. There we go. Wait, hold on. There we go. Circle it. It's done. Now, this is in polar. I need to turn this into rectangular. So this is polar, so I'm going to turn it to rectangular. Is there another one here? Oh, right there. So I have 6 CIS of 180. So turning it to rectangular, it's going to turn into 6. I'm going to expand it again. Cosine of 180 plus I sine of 180. And cosine 180 on my unit circle is going to be -1. So 6 times -1. And this next one over here, so I sine 180. So sine of 180 is 0. So it's plus 0 I. Because this right here gives me 0, and I leave the I alone for right now. So anything times 0 is always going to be 0. So even though it's I times 0, that's still 0. Now when I distribute this, 6 times -1 is -6. 6 times 0 is 0. 0I. So my answer is just going to be -6. And that is in the rectangular form. So you have to make sure you're paying attention to the mode or what it's asking for. So this one right here said it's in rectangular. So it gave us in polar, we did the math in polar, and we turn it back into rectangular. So if you need to pause it, go ahead, I'm moving on. So the next one's going to be quotient. So I have my two things that I have here, which is this first one, the second one. If I'm dividing it, it's going to end up becoming this. So R1 divided by R2. And over here, we are subtracting my angles this time. And in the condensed form, here it is, R1 divided by R2, then my theta 1 minus theta 2. So with a division or quotient, I'm going to subtract. Multiplication, I add. So let's go ahead, write it in the form. So I'm still doing this in polar form. So it's going to start with 10 over 5, and then it's going to be CIS of my top one, which is -60, minus my bottom one, which is 150. So let me put it in parentheses so you can actually see all that right there. So I have a negative and I'm subtracting another negative, so that's going to give me a bigger negative. So 10 divided by 5 is going to give me 2 CIS of those subtracted, which is going to be negative 210 Now, it says rectangular form again, so I'm going to expand it. So 2 cosine of negative 2, 1, 0 plus I sine of negative 2, 1, 0. And from my unit circle, negatives go backwards, so I try to find where that's going to be. So it is going to be coterminal with the angle of 150 degrees, positive 150. So I'm taking my negative 210, add 360, and that's going to give me, when I put those together, I get, let me see, 0, 5, 1. 150 degrees is my coterminal. So at 150, so cosine at 150 is going to be, so 2 parentheses is negative rad 3 over 2 plus I sine at my 150 is going to be 1/2. So distribute, so when I distribute here, it's going to, right here, the multiplying by 2 and dividing by 2 is going to cancel, so I'm left with negative radical 3. Have this 2 multiplying by over here, so multiplying by 2, divided by 2, those will cancel. So I'll still have the 1 and the I, so 1 times I is going to give me just I. So it's plus I. And so this is my rectangular form. And this one right here together is my polar form. And I would not recommend just plugging it straight into the calculator, because if you do that, you're going to end up getting weird decimals on some of these, especially that negative rad 3, which is going to give me like negative 1.7, which is a irrational decimal. All right, moving on. Example 3, this one right here, use calculator, write the result in a rectangular form. So, this is already in the CIS. So we're going to plug it in using cosine I sine. Let me grab my calculadora. And so here I am. So I want my answer in rectangular form. So I'm going to start here with this, settings, document settings, and I want my answer in rectangular. So I'm going to change this to rectangular. I'm going to go back to my scratch pad, and it is 9.3 CIS. So for this, you go 9.3 open. Remember, CIS stands for cosine I sine. So cosine of, let me see, 125.2 degrees. Close that one. Plus I, right? I, so I'm going to go and hit the pi button. Use that I. Sine of 125.2 degrees. There we go. So I have that right there, but the calculator's already set to give me the answer in rectangular form. So I just have to hit enter now. So this answer is going to be negative 5.36. Wait. Oh, I'm sorry. I just entered the first one. I still have to enter the second one. I'm like, wait a minute, where did I mess up? Okay. So this is my first one. Now it's going to be times the 2.7 CIS. There it is. So 2.7 open cosine of 49.8 degrees close plus I sine of 49.8 degrees. There we go. All right, so now that we have all that there, all that's in there now. So now I hit enter, and I get negative 25.01 plus 2.19i. So there it is in rectangular. There we go. All right, so you pause it if you need to. Here's another one. This one has to do with the division. So I'm going to put this on the calculator as is. So if you notice, what's different here is this is in radian. My angles are given to me in radians, so that means I need to change my mode to radian. There we go. Let's start that out. So it's going to be, start with control, divide. Oh, sorry, there it is. Control, divide, and I have 10.42. Open parentheses, cosine of, that is 3 pi over 4, 3, wrong one, pi over 4, so close that one, plus I sine of 3 pi over 4. Next one on the bottom, now that we're down to the bottom, 5.21. Open cosine of pi over 5 plus I sine of pi over 5 and okay, since we have everything in there now, so go ahead, and since we're still trying to find it in rectangular, I just hit enter. So my answer is going to be negative 0.31 plus 1.98i. And this is rectangular. So, how about this? Rectangular? Instead of circling a rectangular, let's make a rectangle out of it. That'd be even better. That's cooler, right there. So every time it's rectangular, you need to not circle it. You put a rectangle around it. There we go. That's one way to do it. All right, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification button, and go to my merch store. Use the promo code CLA. So class of 22 to get 10% off.